The door wasn't supposed to be open. That was the first thing I noticed. It stood slightly ajar, just enough for a thin line of darkness to spill into the hallway. I froze halfway down the stairs, my hand gripping the railing tighter than it needed to. My heart started beating faster. Not panic, not yet, just instinct. Because that door had always been locked. Always. "Never go down there, Emily." His voice echoed in my head like it was happening again. Calm, firm, final. I had laughed the first time he said it. Thought he was joking. Thought maybe it was some old storage room filled with junk he didn't want to deal with. But he hadn't smiled back. "I mean it," he had said. "That door stays closed." And I listened. For 2 years, I listened. I never asked again, never touched the handle, never even looked at it for too long. Until tonight. Because tonight, it was open. I took one slow step forward, then another. The house was quiet. Too quiet. No TV, no music, no sound of him moving around upstairs. Just silence. Heavy. Uncomfortable. I stopped right in front of the door. My fingers hovered near it. I could feel something inside me shifting. Curiosity, fear, and something else. Something deeper. Because the truth is, it wasn't just about the basement anymore. It was about him. About the small things I had ignored. The late nights, the sudden phone calls he would take outside. The way he sometimes looked at me, like he was thinking about something else. Someone else. I swallowed. Then slowly, I pushed the door open. It creaked slightly. Soft, but loud enough to echo through the silence. I stepped inside, and immediately felt it. The air was colder. Not freezing, but different. Like the space didn't belong to the rest of the house. There was a light on. Dim. Yellow. Barely enough to see. But enough. Enough to understand that this wasn't a storage room. Not even close. My stomach tightened. Because the basement was organized. Too organized. Shelves lined the walls. Boxes stacked neatly. Files. Folders. Everything labeled. Precise. Intentional. I took a step closer. My eyes scanned the nearest shelf. Names. Dates. Numbers. All written in his handwriting. My stomach tightened because I recognized some of them. Neighbors. People from around town. Even friends. What is this? The words barely left my lips, more to myself than anything else. I reached out slowly, my fingers trembling just slightly, and pulled one file off the shelf. My name was on it. I froze. Everything inside me went still, because that shouldn't have been possible. Not here, not like this. I stared at it for a second longer. Then, slowly, I opened it, and everything changed. The first page was a photo of me. Not recent, but not old either. Taken from a distance without me knowing. My chest tightened instantly. I flipped to the next page. More photos. Different days, different places. Grocery store, parking lot, outside work. My hands started shaking now. Not slightly, not controlled, fully. Because this wasn't normal. This wasn't something you could explain away. This wasn't curiosity. This was something else. Something darker. Something planned. I turned another page. Notes. Written carefully. Detailed. Times. Locations. Observations. She seemed distracted today. She spoke to a man outside the building. She stayed longer than usual. My breath caught in my throat because I recognized the handwriting. His handwriting. My husband's. I stepped back slightly, my mind racing now, trying to make sense of something that didn't make sense, trying to find a version of reality where this was harmless. But there wasn't one. There wasn't anything normal about this, anything safe. I dropped the file back onto the shelf. My heart was pounding now, loud, uncontrollable, because suddenly, every small thing I had ignored came rushing back. The questions I never asked, the answers he never gave, the way he always knew where I was, even when I didn't tell him. It all connected, too clearly, too perfectly. I turned slowly, looking around the room again, but this time I saw it differently. Not as organized, not as controlled, but as something calculated, something hidden, something I was never meant to see. A sound came from upstairs, footsteps. My body froze instantly, because I knew that sound, his footsteps. He was home, earlier than usual. Panic hit me this time, sharp, immediate. I looked around quickly, my eyes searching for somewhere to go, somewhere to hide, because if he found me down here, I didn't know what would happen, and that was the problem. I didn't know him. Not really. Not anymore. The footsteps got closer. The door upstairs opened, closed. Silence again. Then, "Emily?" His voice, normal, casual, like nothing had changed, like everything was fine. I didn't answer. I couldn't, because my voice wouldn't come out, because I didn't know what version of him was upstairs right now, the one I thought I married, or the one who kept files on me in the basement. The footsteps moved again, closer to the stairs. My heart felt like it was going to break through my chest, and for the first time since I opened that door, I realized something. This wasn't just a secret. This was a choice, and I had just crossed a line he never wanted me to cross. The basement door creaked above me, and everything went still. "Emily?" His voice was different now. Not louder, not angry, just sharper, more focused. I stayed still, completely still, like if I didn't move, he wouldn't see me, wouldn't find me. But deep down, I knew that wasn't true, because he already knew. He always knew. I heard his footsteps on the stairs, slow, measured, each step echoing louder than the last. My breathing felt too loud, too fast. I tried to control it, but I couldn't. Not anymore. He reached the bottom step, stopped. For a second, nothing happened. Then, "You weren't supposed to come down here." His voice was calm, too calm. I turned slowly, my body stiff, my hands cold. He stood a few feet away, looking at me. Not surprised, not confused, just watching, like he had expected this eventually. "You lied to me," I said. My voice came out quieter than I expected, but steady. He tilted his head slightly, not defensive, not apologetic, just considering. "He protected you," he said. Protected. That word hit something inside me, hard. "By watching me?" I asked, my voice rising now, despite myself. "By tracking everything I do?" He didn't answer immediately, just looked at me, like he was deciding how much to say, how much I deserved to know, or how much he was willing to admit. "You don't understand," he said, finally. "I understand enough." I stepped forward slightly, holding his gaze, even though every instinct in my body was telling me not to. "Those files," I continued, "that's not protection, that's control." Something shifted in his expression, small but real. "Emily." "No." I shook my head, because I could feel it now, the fear, but also something else, Clarity. You don't get to explain this away. My chest felt tight, but my voice didn't break, because I wasn't confused anymore. I wasn't doubting myself. I wasn't questioning what I had seen. I knew, and that changed everything. He took a step closer, and for the first time, I stepped back, not out of weakness, out of awareness, because I didn't know what he was capable of, not anymore, and that was the truth I couldn't ignore. I didn't stay that night. I couldn't, not after what I saw, not after what I understood. I packed a bag quietly, carefully, every movement controlled, because I didn't want to trigger anything, didn't want to push him further. He watched me from the doorway, silent, unmoving, like he was waiting for something. But I didn't give it to him. Not anger, not fear, not even tears, because those things belonged to the version of me that didn't know, that trusted him, that believed in something that wasn't real. I loved you, I said, finally, soft, honest, because it was true, even now, even after everything. I know, he replied, and somehow that made it worse. I picked up my bag, walked past him, slowly, carefully, and for a second, I thought he might stop me, might say something, do something. But he didn't. He just stood there, watching, like he always had. Except now, I could see it, clearly. I reached the front door, opened it, and stepped outside. The air felt different, lighter, colder, real. I took a deep breath, and for the first time in a long time, I felt something I hadn't expected: freedom. Because the truth is, some doors aren't meant to stay closed, and some secrets aren't meant to be hidden. And once you see them, you can't go back. You shouldn't go back. I closed the door behind me and didn't look back.